Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Cancer September 2020 Must Knows. I love to help you understand the things that there are to celebrate about the time ahead and the things to look out for so that by the time we get to the month that I'm talking about, you are very well prepared for maximizing the potentials. And I do always put these things out early so that you have them for your planning purposes, because once you understand that aligning with the natural rhythms of the universe is much easier than going against them, you will want to know these things ahead of time so that you can make your plans accordingly as best as you have in your say. So we've got a lot of things to celebrate for Cancer this month, so I'm just going to get right going with it. The first thing is that the Sun and Mercury are moving through Virgo, and those placements make a nice mathematical angle. It's a 60-degree angle with Cancer placements. That is the angle that I call the ingredients on the counter angle, which means that you've got things that you will need and want to create something will come this month. But you got to do something with it. Okay, so the bigger sweetness comes from you taking action on the things that come to you and you recognizing them when they're there and you doing something with them. Whereas if you pass by and you say, "Where's my pie?" and the ingredients are on the counter, then you didn't do anything with it. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind this month and be looking out for those opportunities as they come. And they could be rather big. And the reason is because even though these planetary movements of the Sun and Mercury are fairly superficial, meaning they pass quickly, you know, their connections last for a few days at a time, depending on what they're locking in with your official Cancer placement. But when they lock into a mathematical configuration with something else like an outer planet that's in a sign like Capricorn, which speaks to long-term ventures and long-term things, that's when the stakes start to get higher of the things that could come in for you at this time. So a lot of things that can ensure your future security or bring some things into more of a permanent footing for you can come in this month, despite the fact that Mars is in retrograde, okay? So Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, these are heavy hitter titans, karmic titans of the outer realms. They've been slowly moving through Capricorn and they've been lurking around in the late degrees. And as they've been doing that throughout this year, they've been conflicting with each other, creating massive amounts of change for the world. And I do believe that those are instigators for the coronavirus and the systems breaking down. And although, of course, a lot of these things were set in motion prior, but the big boom of them coming out to our experience has been instigated by these aspects. However, now with the Virgo planets joining them in the most harmonious aspect in all of astrology, the trine, 120 degrees, this is, and all of this is in a nice angle, a very powerful set of angles for Cancer. It really gives you a chance for things that were a problem earlier in the year or prior to now can come to wonderful solutions, and that gifts can come from issues you had in the past, and that you can gel some things together in a long-term way. For many of you, this could result in a new car, a new mobility, however that looks for you. It can result in something with writing projects or things with your relatives, especially like sisters and brothers, although some of you may have parental or other family members, kids come in there as possibilities for this manifestation. So things involving family, things involving homes and real estate, anything having to do with a writing project or a way that you express yourself, like making your expression be part of your work, or if it already is, something like that can gel together in a big way. So definitely look throughout the month. These 6 trines that we're having are scattered throughout the month, so it just makes the whole month alive with possibilities for things to gel in a permanent long-term way, specifically focused on material, tangible, notable gains. Okay, so that is a major must know for Cancer this month. I'm also calling this energy the big cleanup. Like the energy of this month is the big cleanup, because Virgo energy seeks to organize and make efficient and make practical. And when it combines with fellow practical, efficient Earth sign, it's like it wants to clean up your communication, clean up your writing projects. It's perfect for editing. It wants to clean up anything having to do with miscommunications or challenges with your relatives. And this also extends out into any family member. And for those of you who are basically like July-born Cancers especially, you may notice that this can have to do with your health. Now, anyone in the zodiac can have these connections result in something notable for their health, but there is some extra energy for the July-born or from like 10 to 29 degrees if you're watching for your moon or rising sign, have some of these energies really gelling in that 6th house, the health house, or something having to do with a pet or animal or relationships with animals or businesses involving animals, or your daily work experience, your job. And this can also have to do with employment, and this is for all Cancers. Employment, raises, recognition. This is a really great time to ask for a raise, but there is one little must know with this. With Mars retrograde, Mars is retrograde officially from September 9th through November 14th, but every day since the end of July as we got towards September 9th, we were deepening in the energy of Mars retrograde because there is a shadow period beforehand that tends to behave as if it were already retrograde. Okay, so by the time September 9th comes, we've already been deepening these Mars retrograde energies, but they're super strong this month in October and November. And this has to do with the energy Mars, the god of war, aggression, oomph, get up and go, ambition, goals, turning backwards. So for many people, this will make people lazy. This will curb their enthusiasm and their goals. Although you might have a rogue person, some people who have Mars in retrograde at birth will have different effects from this. Like they tend to turn on when Mars is in retrograde. And so the most important thing to know, if you can't differentiate yourself with the detailed astrology in your chart, is to just go with the things that are flowing for you. And as soon as you hit roadblocks, this is going to be true for August, September, all the rest of the year. If you're hitting roadblocks, just bow out and don't push it, because any act of aggression, even if it's small in the way that you're just trying to make something happen, tends to boomerang back during a Mars retrograde, and it doesn't feel very good, and it doesn't work very well, and it can bring the keynote of Mars retrograde, which is frustration and anger. But that mostly happens, first of all, if there's just something that is under the surface, passive aggressive things that need to be healed, or second of all, if you're trying to push where you're not supposed to. But that being said, if things are just magically lining up and gelling and happening and you're motivated and you're flowing, you don't have to stop your flow. Okay, just be aware to tune into the energy in case it shifts. Okay, so this can be a very comfortably productive time where you can really coast, and really having the discernment to see what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to avoid is part of the lesson that Mars retrograde is giving us, because it's like forcing you to make your intuition a part of your life. And Cancer people have very, very strong connection with their intuition. Sometimes it gets muddled with high emotion and it's hard for them to tell the difference, but this is a very empathic sign, and this energy of Mars moving through Aries is actually in a challenging angle to Cancer, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. One of the ways I see this manifesting is you getting more in touch with not procrastinating, like finding the balance between not procrastinating and not forcing and going against the flow, and using your intuition and your connection to synchronicity to align with that perfect process. You know, and sometimes that feels a little bit uncomfortable, that developing process, but in the long run, it's going to help prepare you to better use your intuition and better flow with the natural rhythms of the universe anyway. Okay, so anything that is a casual and flexible commitment is amazing for Mars retrograde. And you can see more on Mars retrograde, and I highly recommend you get well versed on this, which I've already done the hard work for you. You can just read my blog and watch my video about this, and it will really help you prepare and use the energies in the best way. So if you search for Annie Botticelli Mars retrograde, or if you click more underneath the video, I have a lot of connections to free resources that I've created to further assist you, including these two resources. Okay, so a major must-know for Cancer is that Jupiter is turning direct. If you have noticed that things started to slow down in your life and your ambitions, or not your ambitions, your enthusiasm and your optimism may have started to wane starting in May, this may have been because not only at that time were we dealing with Venus retrograde, then we stepped into Mercury retrograde, and that was all in a water sign, but also in May, Jupiter, the ruler of enthusiasm and optimism and benevolence and luck, also went retrograde. So now in September, Jupiter is waking up. And that is very exciting because if you have been feeling more low than usual, especially starting in May, you could be thinking that you're feeling low because of what's going on in the world and what has happened because of coronavirus. But what has happened with coronavirus is actually astrological in origin. So if we just take it back to the astrology, then at this time you might start to see more hope or more solutions coming through. And if you don't, it will show you the places where you have to work on in order to get back that positivity. But you might just notice that you're seeing creative solutions. Your resourcefulness may start returning this month, and thinking of ways to make lemonade out of any lemons that have come from all of the world's changes may also be a way that this energy manifests. So something that is very notable about September has to do with this energy I'm calling a still point. September is a still point for two reasons. One is because it's wedged right in between the eclipse hot spots of the year. Eclipses astronomically happen on one day, but eclipses astrologically happen over a period of time. They're constantly in motion, and there are times, kind of like a kettle, getting to boil and then cooling down, where that heating up process and that cooling down process shows an eclipse season, as I call it. Okay, and we had an eclipse season in June, July, August, and now we're going to have another eclipse season in October, November, December. But September is perched, a little precariously, just kind of like hanging in the balance of the two hot spots of the eclipses. So in that way, it could be a calm before a storm, or a calm, a chance to kind of find your footing, which is a theme that I talked about in August that continues this month, before more changes come. It's also a still point because as Jupiter and Saturn wake up, they're both going direct this month. Certain things will start moving forward, even despite Mars being in retrograde, okay? You will feel these outer planets saying, hey, we're moving forward. In some cases that it will trump this Mars retrograde, which is, less influential in some ways. They're both, the effects of them both, or them all, are going to happen concurrently, but you will see things moving forward regardless of the fact that Mars is retrograde. And what's notable about September is that Jupiter and Saturn are waking up, but they're not yet conflicting with each other, and Pluto, like these energies had come together before, prior in the year, which is where the big ruckuses were happening with the coronavirus. And if you want to see more about that, you can search for my video, Botticelli Coronavirus, and you can understand more about the astrology, how astrology explains these things that have been going on. But in any case, these titans of the outer realms, these karmic lords, are creating a lot of change and burning off a lot of karma. But when we've got this waking up in September, they're not yet in the conflictive aspects as they will be in October, November, December. So we've got, just kind of looking ahead, we've got eclipse season, October through December. We have these aspects hitting for their final conclusion story, the end of the stories. Of course, these stories about coronavirus will be in evolution. I mean, we're not just going to say goodbye to the coronavirus once these aspects stop, but it's definitely going to be different after these storylines are told, and September is a time before we get to those clashes. So it's kind of like this little calm before a potential storm, or calm before these big changes. Okay, so this month we do have, once again, like we did in August, double the challenging aspects compared to the sweet ones. But this doesn't have to be terrible. This can be, just some nuisances, or you can reframe them as an invitation from the stars. I like to look at challenging aspects as this invitation from the stars to do things differently, because starry connections bring out from our unconscious experience into our conscious awareness certain factors that were at play under the surface. And if we do something with them, if we clear them up, if we acknowledge them, if we heal them, if we start to see things differently or do things differently, then they're really doing their work, and we can have something very positive come from these little annoying bumps. Okay, so the next thing to know, a must know about this month, is that I talked about the fact that we're having 6 trines, and this is very exciting and notable. We also have 6 of these in conjunct or quincunx aspects. These are, as awkward as that word sounds, quincunx, it's just sort of like ships passing in the night, bringing doubt, it's an awkward angle. And we do have them scattered throughout the month, and you will feel them. But I'm seeing the themes of August and September kind of running together as this energy of finding the new normal, getting your footing. I used in August the analogy of a baby giraffe being born and being all gangly on their legs, but they have to run soon because if a predator comes, they're just genetically programmed to be able to learn that quickly. But August and September is us. It's you finding your footing, getting stronger in your long, strong legs to be able to step forward with the changes that have happened and the changes that are to come. So you can choose to take any doubt that comes from these aspects as a gift of the universe that shows you where you have to shore up. I know sometimes for very sensitive people like empaths and a lot of Cancer energies really, really feel this, that when a lot of things are happening, it overwhelms your circuits and it can be very difficult to tune into that positivity, to remember the bigger picture when you're swamped with so much emotion, not just yours, but other people's. So, and just an ongoing storyline for Cancer is to, clear your energy field. Take an Epsom salt bath if that's okay for you medically. Take a sea salt bath. Put essential oil sprays in your field. Meditate. Use EFT, emotional freedom technique tapping. Pray. Breathe. Go outside barefoot. If you can't, put your head up to a tree. Trees clear energy fields. Something really fantastic to know about trees, and this is very much relevant to what I'm talking about for your energy field, is that they clear out and block negative electric fields. My husband and I have a really good time with our tri-field meter. It's a meter that basically measures magnetic fields and electric fields so that you can see from electric posts or outlets, that you can see the energies. And what we've seen very consistently, and it's a truth, is that if you've got something that has a strong electric field and you put a plant in front of that, like a router or an electric socket, the plant will actually block that electric field. And similarly, plants actually help us to clear our field. You can't see it from here, but I have a lot of plants. And you can have plants inside, you can go outside, but even just standing under a tree, it's not just for tree huggers. This is like a scientific truth. You can help to clear your energy field when you are out in nature and when you touch these grounding cords. So that can help you to get through any challenges that come your way now or ever. The final thing that I want to talk about has to do with the end of the water festival. Even though water flows well from the elemental perspective for Cancer, because all the water planets have been making trines or conjunctions with your placement, it has been very emotional, very overwhelming, and very intense for everybody in the zodiac because of this strong showing of water. I'm calling it a water festival. June, July, wearing off some in August, but still present, and then a big kind of grand finale with the Pisces full moon at the beginning of September. And so hopefully August will bring a little bit more of a relief from the extra emotion that June and July had. And then we've got this boom at the beginning of September, and then we're more into the earth signs and air and fire, and that should help clear some of this excess emotion. And it is important to note that this Pisces full moon in the first days of September only has one little bump of a challenging aspect, but it has these great long-term positive aspects too. So the chance for happy tears or happy emotion is increased because of those placements, and also because it's a Pisces full moon, it trines your sign. So that's very, very positive. And those of you who are in the 5 to 15 degree range, either for your sun or moon or rising, the closer to 10 degrees, the more intense the positive blessing. But we'll say so around maybe June 25th or so through around July 5th, you all will feel the extra blessings. Even though it's good for all Cancers, you all will feel the extra blessings. And those of you that are closer to like the July 1st, you'll get even extra blessings from this Pisces full moon. Okay, so that's exciting. So definitely utilize my resources about Mars retrograde, because this is a long transit. It's going to be in effect until the beginning of January and of 2021. So you'll want to, read up on that. So if you go to Annie Botticelli, do a search for Annie Botticelli Mars retrograde, or click underneath the video more arrow, and then all these notes will be revealed, and I have all kinds of links to help you with more free resources. If you like written horoscopes that are much more simple than my videos, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com, and you will find succinct written horoscopes that talk about some of the general things that I've mentioned here, except written, and then also some things that you can expect, areas of focus that are likely to come up for you based on the placement of the sun, and good reads for each sign. Plus, it's a beautiful site. You'll see what I mean when you get there, and it has healthy lifestyle blogs. Definitely sign up for my free email newsletter, AnnieHelpsYou.com. AnnieHelpsYou.com has all kinds of blogs, but you can sign up for this newsletter and you will get my written report 1 month early delivered into your inbox that has all of the dates of the aspects of the month, what the aspects are and what you can expect from them. Also a write-up of the energy of the month, some things which I talk about in the videos, but written. And this September write-up is very long. It's much longer than usual because there are a lot of subtle nuances about this month that I go into a lot of details about in that write-up. You also get my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free when you sign up for my free email newsletter. Okay, so you can do that at AnnieHelpsYou.com. You can also check out my free courses, including a course that used to be a paid one called Unleash Your Money Magnet. So you can go to lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. That's my school, Luminous Life Multiversity. You can also see my paid courses there, including Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. If you think I go into details in my videos, you will be very surprised at the very comprehensive nature of my course that will prepare you to do whatever you'd like to do with astrology, whether it's professional or just for you and your friends and your family. And if you are a friend that loves the added chart visuals, don't worry, they're not going away. It's just, I'm a fire sign, and at the time I'm recording this, we're still very much in this water festival, and it's bringing me a lot of things in my personal life to attend to, so I haven't had the extra time in this time I'm recording to add those visuals in, but they're not gone forever, they're just not here for this time. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!